this just in, property just got into my desk here. It's one of the numbers for this one here for you. So in case you are interested in this property here, let me know, 630-777-4597. But yeah, let me just show you what I got here so far. I got this quick little text message saying, hey, check this out, this property. Well, let's check it out together. This one just hit the market very, very recently here, the span of hours, okay, here on Hinman. Let's take a look at this home together here, and let's run some numbers and see if this property is for an investor. Is this property for a person looking to flip this property, or is this property just for someone that's looking to live in this primary? Okay, so let's go over some of the data and statistics about this property. All right, so for this home here that you're looking at your screen at the moment, let me just go ahead and run through the whole house. You're already getting an idea of what it looks like. I could almost even smell the house just looking at the photos. It's on 741 Hinman Street. No, I do not represent the seller. This one's courtesy of Stonebridge Realty LLC. Again, it's here in the east side of Aurora, 60505. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 full bath in this property. Now, is it a tiny house or is it a big house? Let's find out. 943 square feet is what this property has, but it already has the bedrooms in place, right? So even if they're small, people can make something good out of this property here. But yeah, it's not the biggest house in the world, but it's almost good enough for someone to buy. Okay, so let's take a look here. This property is again looking at looks like 3 bedrooms and 1 below grade, by the way, and then 2 full baths. This property was built in 1929, and so that's what we got for this particular home. What I'm going to do as well, actually, I want to just plug in some numbers here. Give me a second. I gotta get my notebook going here. All of this is done on the fly here, so let me bring up some information regarding this. All right, so this one again is going for $200,000. This property is $200,000. Right off the bat, that sounds like a good number. Hopefully, if properties in this area can sell for $300K or more, then we have a possible flip here. If the ARV is only like $250 or so, I can already tell you that this property might not be the best for that purpose of flipping it, because the numbers just won't make sense, right? So this property was listed here on the 11th of March. All right, and let's just go ahead and start looking at some of this information here. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back here. 741 Hinman. Okay, so I'm going to plug in the information into Rentometer to take a look at what the rental numbers are looking like. Okay, so I'm going to show you here on the screen. All right, 741 Hinman. All right, so here we go. Again, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 or more, but technically has 2. According to the numbers here, this property can rent for $2,270, close to, I'm going to say $2,300 is what the rents can go for here. So if it makes sense, the mortgage payment should be around $1,800, hopefully, for this to make sense. $500 a month cash flow or more. Okay, we'll plug in those numbers after we run the next phase, which is going to be the rehab cost. Let's take a look. Let's get into this property and start running some numbers. Okay, and obviously this takes a lot of work, obviously, and some folks like to especially bring their contractors to the property so that they can look at the numbers. I myself, based on what I know with home inspections and with numbers, and I ask investors all the time about this information, I'm going to try to estimate how much these repairs would be. Okay, so starting off the bat here, I do see the driveway here is a little bit cracked, so I'm going to add about $6K for those repairs if they put asphalt there. Okay, I know a guy who does this all the time, and I asked him for estimates just like this driveway, and he said about $6K is what they could do it for. So with that knowledge, there you go, right? And obviously this property does need it. I mean, they put some bricks in there to kind of compensate the driveway space, and you can see here in the dirt that cars have been driving on it. So it's a narrow driveway here, but the garage is not disappointing. It's a 2-car garage there, so I do like that. We did need some more information about the roof. I don't see any information here regarding the roof. Unfortunately here, the listing agent did not put in any good information for them for as far as like the roof age and whatnot. So you would have to kind of see it in person to really go in there. If you want me to do the go in person and doing a video, a walkthrough of the property, hey, be my client. Call me at 630-777-4597, and I will do that for my client to walk the property and give even more accurate numbers here. Or we can just go together. How about that? All right, so let's just take a look here at the exterior. Looks like the windows are in fair shape based on the photos here. Now we're gonna start calculating for the kitchen. All right, I'm typing in some numbers here for the paint and the interior. The floors themselves, I mean, I'm seeing here, it looks like the floors are hardwood, at least based on here. Obviously looking at the property itself and maybe even touching it or walking on it, you'll be able to feel if it's laminate or hardwood. But for now, we're gonna call it hardwood. Here's the bath. Now I'm gonna put $5K for each full bath that we see here. I ignore all the clutter. I ignore all the personal property that's not going to stay here. I ignore the guy opening the door here in the MLS photo. He is not included in the property. I don't think you could even add that to the contract. But anyway, all jokes aside, here we are looking at one of the bedrooms. And then this is the 0.5, right? Sometimes the properties say 1 story or 2 story. This is a 1.5 story, and that's what you'll be seeing here is the upstairs. It looks like it's ample space. I mean, I do see here the carpet, and it doesn't look too used up, but looking at the property, you decide if you want to keep it or not. Some contractors and investors want to decide, hey, I'll keep it, and they'll spare themselves 2 to 3 to 4K in carpets, and others say, what, I actually want to replace the carpet. And there's nothing like a new carpet smell in the house anyway, doesn't it make it feel so brand spanking new? All right, so that's the upstairs. I'm going to add about another 1.5 for the painting of the upstairs. Okay, that's looking at the opposite side of it as well here. There's a chimney in the middle of it, so it's protruding in the middle of this whole upstairs. But again, someone can make this into the +1. Remember, this listing said 3 bedrooms and +1. That's the +1 right there, okay? So do it with it what you may. It's not a legal bedroom, but again, someone could just have that in their consideration, all right? All right, so looking at here, here's the porch in the front. Just some cleaning up. I see some floor work needs to be done, so I'm gonna add about 1.5 to the calculations. I see the stairs going downstairs to the basement as well, needs some work. You could either get some painting or some work done here. So I'm gonna say, okay, 1,000 for that. Now again, ignore the markings in the wall. All of that could be covered with the paint. Ignore the cans of beer right there. Unless you want to keep that in the contract, go ahead and put that in the contract if you really want the Bud Lights. Otherwise, this is not going to be included in the property. It does look messy again, but painting this section, I would add 3K to it. Fixing up the floor. It's a finished basement. I do see the drywall here, the trim. It's just I'm asking, why is there no flooring here? I mean, the carpet is ripped up. I, as an observer, can see, hey, maybe there was a flooding, maybe there was wetness, right? And they had to remove it so that it won't stink up the house. So that's what we see here. So I'm gonna say, the labor to remove that, about $500 to remove that, and then I would say to add carpet, I would add maybe for this room maybe 2.5 to add carpet. Obviously, we're taking into account brand new doors, so I'm gonna add another 1,000 to add a couple of doors there. Washer, dryer there's one there, but I would add another 1.5 for those two as well. And basically it. We gotta see as well the major appliances and see their age, right? If we need to replace the hot water heater or the furnace, then we would have to add those on there. Hopefully we do have photos of it. I do see here the electric panel switches. So again, you decide if you want to keep that or not. That's a 1.5 expense. And then the furnace here, it looks a little dated, but as long as it's functioning properly, you wouldn't have to. That's about a 3.5 expense. The water heater as well is a 3.5 expense, and I would add that to it. It does look a little dated there. So now we're seeing the outside. That's the garage right there. I do see a big crack in the middle of that garage, but again, it depends on the person if they want to keep it. I do see electric door opener as well. The backyard looks decent and fine, nothing to do there. So again, all in all now, as you can see here, as we scan the market, I got 46, right, as I am doing the calculation. Obviously, I'm going to account for errors and omissions and whatnot, so I'm going to add about 9K to that. So my number here for rehab is 55K for that, okay? Now the next step in this is going to take a look at the market and see what the market looks like. So that means basically, what are the comps, right? Excuse me. So let me go ahead here and plug in some information, right? So let's reset that. I'm going to plug in the address as well here. So let's just do that now. So it's 741 Himnen. 741 Himnen. That's a tongue twister for me, actually. Hinman. There you go. It's a man. Hinman Street. I'm gonna say that all day now. All right. So here we go. We can see in the map where this property is located. There it is on the east side of the Fox River, close to Jackson Street, close to Union. I know exactly where this property is. Very good. Excuse me. So let's just, excuse me, get a 1 mile radius going. All right, and because the property itself is 943 square feet, I don't want to compare it to houses that are huge, humongous. So I'm going to put a limit of 1,400 max of the square feet, okay? Now with that said, we got 4 comparables, but they are live on the market at the moment. Our competition basically says that 215, 217 is the max that the competition currently is asking for this home. So therefore, let me see what the history says. In the last 6 months, we had 30 comparables, and this is really the number that we're looking at here. And so the most that the property sold for here in this area is $325,000 for this house right here. And I like this one too because it's within the range. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, so it's very similar to that, built in 1958. Remember, our subject was 1928. So if you can make that house look like this, then the ARV, in other words, the after repair value, would be 325 minus the 6,000 in concessions, so that would be a total of 319. The next one is 310, but that's a 2-story, and actually that's a 1.5 story too. So 310 is another one. Let me just show you how it looks like inside. That one needs work. So I would still claim it as, say, you know what, 320 is the ARV for this area. Okay, now that we got the ARV, we're moving across really quickly. Now I want to bring out here the mortgage calculators. So let me go ahead and bring that up here. Okay. So if the ARV is 320 for this area, all right, my rehab costs are $55,000 based on the photos alone. Obviously, you have to do your own due diligence and whatnot. The broker fee for the seller, let's just assume these numbers, right? Obviously, it's not a set in stone. There's no standard number and whatnot. All right, the taxes for this property, okay? It does have a homeowner exemption for the purposes of this video. I'm not going to run the numbers there. That's an extra step. But $3,663 is what is reported. So I'm going to just go ahead and just put $4,000 just for now, okay? Utilities, other fees and whatnot are going to be excluded for the time being. All right, they're asking $200,000 for this, and if we do all cash, here we go. Are you ready for this number? I'm not even going to put in the video. I want to just let you know that for this property, no wonder they reached out to me. Someone here in the audience reached out to me and said, "Hey, those, check out this property. Just came on the market," because I do see that it has a $32,000 flip price attached to it. Okay, the acquisition price, $200,000, is not bad at all. It's a good number, and if there's competition, you know, then it's probably going to go up to maybe 220 or so. That still has enough meat on the bone for someone to flip it and to make a little bit of profit off that. Okay, but it's got to stay around that 200 mark. Okay, now let's plug in the final numbers here, which is actually, let me actually put it in here. The flip, 30 flip. All right, ARV asking. Okay, great. And the condition of the property wasn't about 55% in my opinion. All right, now let's find out, is this property actually good for renting it out? Is it okay for a buy and hold, or is it just good for a flip? Sometimes properties are not for rentals and they are actually for flips. How do we know, right? Well, we're gonna compare the rental price with the actual mortgage, okay? So if it costs $55,000 to do the rehab work, to bring it up to speed, right? Plus the purchase price, $200, we get a grand total of $255. If we, let's assume, do 20% down, and let's assume that the interest rate was 7.1, right? 30-year mortgage, whatnot. And then the buyer agent fee, right now, that doesn't matter. We're talking about monthly numbers here, okay? The concession, we're gonna leave that out, right? Hazard insurance, and by the way, it's snowing outside. This is amazing. We just had a tornado yesterday here in the area, and now it's snowing outside. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, back to this. So again, the taxes are $4,000, and hazard insurance, we're assuming about $1,500 based on what my conversations have been with insurance agents right now. And the closing date, let's just say that right now it is March 11th, so in a month from now, which is going to be April 11th. Here we go. Now the number is gonna, this is right here. It's gonna tell us whether or not this property is gonna be great for buying and holding, or if it's gonna be a property where it's only for a flip. All right, the number is $1,829 is what the mortgage payment should be. So I'm gonna assume, I just played safe with $1,800. And look, just like we started off the video by saying, if it was $1,800 or so mortgage, then we have ourselves a good buy and hold. Guess what? The numbers kind of do show that. So $500 is the cash flow that I'm going to call it at. So I think this is a deal. So get on the phone right now. Call me, 630-777-4597. Let's get to see this property. I hope you like it. You know, this property should be a going show as well. I can actually find that out for you right now as you are here looking at this. Is this a property a going show? Well, let me just take a look. And this is just for me to know, obviously. You know, don't worry about, you know, what I'm doing here and whatnot. But it's appointment required, so we'll have to do that. But anyway, there it is. Again, Luis Torres just brought this property up randomly here. I hope you enjoyed this video here. This is how I comp the properties and see if they actually work out. So this is one that we're going to add to the list. If you want me to comp some more properties, let me know. Okay, here we go. Have a good day.